Greetings everyone, it is day 6 of the piers, and I think that would make it probably like day 3 or day 4 of odds and ends kind of stuff. So I haven't filmed in 3 days. My cousins, by marriage, were renewing their wedding vows in Lake Tahoe, and they asked me to officiate the ceremony. So I had Mike and Mark working down here. They were staking off the forms, getting them ready for the cement. They found one of the walls, which is right in front of me, was off about 3/4 of an inch at the bottom. So they really had to pull all the stakes and kick that bottom out to where it needs to be. Somehow it got built kind of up, at an angle at 3/4 of an inch. So, I really appreciate them being so thorough in what they do. But getting back to the family event I was at this weekend, a lot of the family stopped by the job site here to check out the progress. They've been watching the videos, but they wanted to see it firsthand. And so I want to say a big hello to my Uncle Steve. He came by and he was great because he's like, hey, where's that bracket you needed to move? And it was funny that he had watched the previous videos and knew exactly what was going on. And I also wanted to say hi to Brad, one of my cousins. He watches all the videos, and he and his family stopped by to check out the job site as well. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching and the support. Means a lot to me. I'm very humbled by you guys actually paying attention to the videos. So anyway, I'm going to get busy continuing on centering the rebar in the middle of the forms. Mark and Mike, they're going to continue straightening up the walls and getting them all ready for cement with the angled stakes and everything. So let's get going. It is the next day, and I did not film an outtake yesterday, so I'll probably combine yesterday's video with today, but it is just so nice down here today. The birds are going crazy. Hopefully you can hear that. But I'll give you an update on what we did yesterday. So Mike and Mark spent the whole day, or most of the day, putting these diagonal bracing in on all the walls. They ended up having to redo the original ones I did here. They weren't strong enough, and they got beat up during the winter storm, so a lot of the stakes weren't really holding in the ground. So they did that, and I spent most of the day centering all the rebar in the foundation wall. And once I had completed that, I went and I tied all of the big heavy hold downs. I wire tied them in place so they won't spin and get turned while they're pouring the cement, because if you look on the top, they actually have a diagram on how they need to be mounted. So if it's in a straight wall, that arrow, or that 90-degree angle that you see right there, points towards the sidewall. And if that was in the corner of the wall, that 90-degree angle has to follow the corner of the form, if that makes sense. Once I finished centering all the rebar, I started going around and I was putting another row of wedge ties. I bought some more. Really was worried about the forms expanding down at the bottom or cracking, so I started putting in those wedge ties, and it's really hard to get them in as an afterthought. So today I will probably continue doing that. I finished up kind of over in that area there by the entry. So I have 3/4 of the house to go. And Mark and Mike they left off here with the diagonal bracing, so they just need to finish this interior wall and this back wall over to that corner, and all the diagonal bracing should be done. Another change we're going to have to make was on these brackets out here that hold the posts for the porticoche. Originally we were going to pour the footing concrete to that point, and then the slab for the drive-through driveway was going to finish right there. But what we realized is there would be only 1/4 of an inch separation between the water, any water that would be running off of the driveway, and the bottom of this post. And that is just a bad detail. So we are going to set them a little differently. This is what the engineer spec'd, but I don't think they realized the potential of that post rotting, and all the posts out here rotting, which we don't want to happen. Probably a better option, and I don't know if that bracket is as strong as the ones here, but they do have brackets that have a 1 inch or 1.5 inch lift above where you would pour the concrete up to. So we're going to end up building up boxes like we did on the other brackets. So this part of the bracket will be 2, 3, maybe 3 inches above the finished driveway. So any water that would run down the driveway slope would actually hit concrete and have 3 inches of concrete before this metal plate. And we're also building that box out enough because of the shear walls. I didn't realize we actually need to have, since it's a shear wall, we have to have some anchor bolts. So those anchor bolts will go down into the cement box, and so I'll have to do a nice fancy cage in here so that the cement is nice and strong for the anchor bolts, and we'll get these brackets raised up to where they will not, the bottom of the post will not get hit with water from anything that runs off the driveway. It is really nice having Mark and Mike here. They also found that my corner here got a little tweaked. It was out of square, and you know, it's one of those things where I was like, we'll just fix it later. But if your foundation isn't square, as you start going up, it could just cause further problems. So we ended up having to pull this whole corner apart, and then we had to cut all the screws out for that corner because they were all screwed on the inside originally. And we had this wall was basically, I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it was in this direction. And so we had to take just a wee bit off here. It was like I mean, it wasn't a lot, but these guys, this side wasn't bad. It was only about an 1/8 inch. And then this side was about 3/8 of an inch that we had to cut off of this board to bring it back in line. It wasn't quite 6 inches in here. So those guys really making up a lot of my mistakes and fixing them right. So what I've been doing to get these wedge ties slipped through the foundation is I've been flattening out these little notches. Normally these notches would keep the form boards from pushing in, which obviously isn't a problem when you're pouring concrete. It's them spreading. So I'm just flattening these out so I could drive them in one side, and then I line them up between the boards on the other side and then finish pushing it through. So basically I've just been taking my pliers and flattening these dudes out like that. I do it on both sides and it'll slip through. At the end of day 6 and 7, Mike and Mark were able to get all of the diagonal bracing and the vertical bracing all done on the foundation forms. So the foundation forms are all ready to go. I just need to get an inspection on those. But first I need to add the lines for the electricity utility, the water, and the propane lines into the garage, and I'll show you where those will go when I get to that point. And they finished up the day fixing the detail on the boxes here out in front at the portico tray. I talked about it where the water was going to run into the bottom of the post. So now the cement will be built up just enough where the water will go around when it runs off the driveway. So that is the update for the end of day 6 and 7. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.